Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Late Night Tavern with your host, Henry, and me, Marco.
This time, I want to start straight off into a discussion.
Yeah.
I had a dream a couple days ago about it was just our school. We were at school, and I think, you know how like when the sun's starting to go down, but like it still looks darker even though the sun's still setting, because sometimes it's like that 3 p.m. kind of feel. So it was like that, but like everyone was leaving school, and like there was this one dude there that I knew back from when I was younger, but like the way he looks now, because he's like tall as hell and jacked. And I was like, oh, hey, dude. It was like, trying to get his attention, because, you know, in dreams, you always do, like, the weirdest things. And you're like, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm walking by the aquatic center, and, like, everyone's, like, leaving, like, together. Like, you know how usually there's, like, the 3 exits? They're all going through the middle. And I thought that was weird as hell. And there was, like, cop cars, fire trucks going everywhere. And then out of nowhere, like, everything was just quiet. And, like, I couldn't see anybody anymore. And, like, everything was still there. But I was by the aquatic center, and fucking Nano was there. And I was like, hey, what the fuck's going on? And then this snake, okay? This snake was coming down. It was like one of, you know, those big-ass boas. But it was hauling ass. I thought those things were just go like that. Like, but, you know, faster because they're longer. That thing was hauling, dude, down that big ass sidewalk from the school.
Yeah.
I was like, and you know, I was like, can we even outrun that thing? I was like, can you outrun a boa? And I was like, because if it gets me, I'm done. Like, there's no one around me except him, and I'm like, and if this thing's hauling ass, it's probably got like laser eyes or some shit. And he jumped on the wall. And you know, the wall that they actually have right there is like real small, but in this it was like up here.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, I'm fucked. And then I woke up, and I was like, dude, if I ever saw a snake hauling ass that aggressively, that was like, it's thicker than like the width of like 4 Gatorade bottles, I'd be terrified.
Thicker than the width of 4 Gatorade bottles?
And it was like, you know, as long as from this window,
That's big.
from this window to that over there, like basically almost to the wall.
I think there's snakes longer than that.
I know, but like it was like that fat. It just looked like Godzilla's turds. It was just speeding.
Those are his offspring.
They're little lizards, aren't they? Little tiny dinosaurs. But yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think about a dream I've had that's like something related to that.
I'm getting chased a lot in my dreams, which I forgot what the meaning of that was, but that happens a lot. Insecurities or I don't know.
I don't know. I've had dreams about stuff like that, but like I'm trying to generally think about it. Like I think I was at the high school, and I've had a dream where we're at the high school or whatever, and it would be like something like, for some reason we were all there overnight. Like, well, it was probably okay. So like, okay, say it was just the seniors, right? Like, they were just in the fucking just around the school, and so we would just like go wherever. Like, it doesn't really matter where you could go or not. You could be in the cafeteria, you could be in the gym, whatever, in a classroom or whatever. And the thing is that there was a murderer on campus, but no one knew about it. So they would kind of go, they would kind of like individually pick everybody off. And then
kill them?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like the school together, like we're gonna find this guy, so let's just start.
Well, no, like at the end, eventually, yeah, but like at the beginning, like that, like slowly, so like that, people would start like seeing like there's like this one anime that's kind of related to this. It's called Danganronpa. That's like the first anime I've ever watched, and it was like this high school, or like this like these people that were from high school, that a murder would happen, and then they would have to try to figure out. At the end, they would go in a court, and they would try to figure out who killed the person. and then gradually another person would die, and at the end they would get these culprits, and then they would pick who it is, and then like once they pick, it's either the right answer or the wrong answer. The wrong answer, I think you die.
Yeah.
And then the right answer, the murderer dies, gets killed. So, I guess in this story, like in this dream, like there was like at the end, this person killed a lot because there's like how many seniors? Like 400, 300, 300. So we got a good like 200, 300.
There's still like 30% of those people. I'm like, who are they?
Yeah, and then like so it ended up being like maybe like. Well, because I guess most of them did escape, but like us, we didn't. There was probably like a group of us that survived like that, and then we found the guy, and then we beat the shit out of him and killed him. So that's how it ended. Like
we curb stomped him.
We put his. I was saying we put his teeth on the curb.
I was about to say, like, if you can't say it, don't say it.
I was like, we put his teeth on the curb, and well, that didn't happen, but we beat him to death basically.
Yeah.
And then we found out it was one of the students.
What was he like Scooby Doo? Like you take off his mask?
No, well he was dead.
After you beat the shit.
Well, we beat the shit out of him. Then we saw who it was. That they were like, oh, damn.
Oh, it's Chris.
It's Kyle.
It's Kevin Spacey.
Fuck Kyle.
It's Kevin Spacey.
It's fucking
you spit over my arm.
What is it? Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi.
He's like.
That guy always seems to look like an ostrich.
It was fucking. You know what's messed up? So one of my friends, they used to make fun of me, and they used to tell me like, "Oh, like Junior, like, oh, you look like Steve Buscemi," and I'm like, "That's fucked up." Is it just because I got blue eyes?
Oh yeah.
I hated that. It was funny, but
I thought you were gonna say like, you know what? In that dream, I fucking murdered them.
Nah. All right, so the second topic we would like to talk about: childhood injuries. We're not go first, or me or you?
Probably you. I feel like
I have a grip of shit.
You do stupid shit right now.
Well, I'm saying child. Well,
I know, but if you still do stupid shit now, you probably did it then.
Hey man, but like if I do it now, it's like it's gonna hurt me in the future.
Look back.
I'm old. Okay, so there's this one. It's not super traumatic, but it's what happened to me. Like I think I was like maybe in elementary school. So in our local town of Douglas, so anyways, we had this farmer market, and it used to be like an annual thing, but it kind of gradually stopped. I don't know why, but it was the most awesomest place to go to because they would sell vegetables, rocks, literally anything. Be the most coolest things ever. And so there was a jumping castle there at one point. And so I was just right there, just jumping. And like I had the brilliant idea of trying to do a backflip.
In the castle? Or like,
in the jumping castle, yeah. Like I was trying to do a backflip like that, but I didn't know how to do a backflip at all.
Say like on the apples or some shit.
So I did a backflip, kind of, and I basically landed on my neck. And so when I was on right there, I was stuck on the floor. I couldn't move my neck to like the right side. Like I couldn't move it to the right at all. I could move it to the left, but if I tried to move it to the right, I could not at all without it hurting painfully bad. So I was all in there, kind of just yowling and crying inside of there. My dad went over there. He got me, and then they took me to the emergency room. And like I remember in the back of my mom's PT Cruiser, I was all right there, all crying right there. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like that. And then they put me on the stretcher. And then so I was in there for a little bit, and then they put, what is it? Like a neck brace around my neck. And so I was like all just standing up, not sitting up, all like that with this weird marshmallow looking thing on my neck. I was just right there with that. And then, the funny thing is, like, I had it on for like 2 days, because like the first day I had to have it on, but the second day like that, I was all thinking, it's like maybe I still have to keep it on. My dad's all saying like, he's like, can you move your neck? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you don't need to keep it on now. At the end, so I just took it off. I'm like, Cool.
I thought you were about to say you took it off and you went.
But I remember that day specifically when I came back. We came back from the hospital, I got one of those, you know, those things at McDonald's, like the slushies that they have now. Well, they have these slushies at McDonald's, but it wasn't a slushie. It was like a
cafe.
It was like an icy sort of thing.
Huh.
Well, I don't know what it was.
The Shamrock thing.
No, like. It was like a slushie, but it wasn't exactly. It was like this juice with ice in it or whatever, like this.
Orange juice?
No, it was like a pink lemonade sort of thing, and it was with crushed ice and everything like that.
Oh.
I remember drinking that, and that was the most awesomest thing ever. And like I remember that whole day, I was just watching documentaries on Discovery Channel about the Earth blowing up, about how this apocalypse stuff would happen.
Aliens. Oh no, that's ancient aliens.
That's one of the other ones I have.
Have you broken a bone or something?
No, I haven't broken a bone yet. I almost died, but I haven't broken a bone.
Did you almost die because of that one thing or a different thing?
The whole piece of my heart.
Oh.
That's.
It's not really.
It's nothing too crazy. I mean, I just had, was it this fast heart rate, and I just had to go to the hospital for like a day or two. I was fine. I'm here now, so I'm alive.
Well, yeah. But the first injury that came to mind was there was like 3 instances. There was I fractured my wrist, which I still think like sometimes like it still hurts in like that fashion sometimes, even though it's like healed. In my elementary school, we initially only had like one playground thingy on this big field that we would use for lunchtime, because we would have a break time one and then we would have a lunchtime one. And then once we got into older grades, that lunch one became our recess one, so it was cool. But we did get a second jungle gym that, you know, like looked newer, all that, and it looked like fucking weird because like newer ones are all like, I don't know why I don't know why they look so weird like that, but they had this thing. It's kind of hard to explain because I don't know if many other places have it, but it was like these like little spinny. They were on these poles and you could bounce on them, but they also kind of They kind of spun, but they didn't fully go 360. They would like stop, but you would go like that. And there was 3 that would bounce and spin, and then the 2 on the other opposite sides of them were ones that had a black top on it, and you couldn't move them. They were just stationary. And then on one side there was like a monkey bar rig, and then the other one was like this weird monkey bar where it was 3 monkey bars that went up but like started curving into each other, and we would always jump from each one of those and then try to swing off the weird monkey bars. And one time I did it, I like fell and I landed like straight on my hand like that, and it fucking hurt so bad. And then the next guy behind me didn't even wait, he like started swinging and then he fucking kicked me in the head. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Ow!
Dude, that shit hurt. And I was like, I'm fine. I think I'm fine. And then I was at home at night and I was like, my wrist really hurts. Like, it hurts a lot. And then she was touching it because she's a nurse. So she was like, maybe, you know, I could tell if it's like a, you know, whatever. She touched it and then she felt that shit crack. And she was like, fuck. And she like freaked the fuck out. And then I got a cast, basically. But then, you know, I did that thing that all kids were, you know, they're like, don't itch inside of it. I itched inside that bitch. Because they would tell you, like, get a spoon and whack the outside of it. I was like, that sounds dumb. I was like, that sounds like it doesn't make sense. And it just sounds like I'm just going to be there like, bam, 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 bam.
Hey, that shit's really itchy,
so
man.
Then I would put a pencil in there, but I wouldn't go aggressive. But then, you know how, like, a normal wooden pencils, they have the little eraser top with the metal? And apparently it got stuck in there. I didn't know that. And then when they took off my cast, it was like right here, and they sawed it, and then they opened it, and I had this huge chunk of my skin like missing, and I was like, I was so scared. And they were like, look, it's a little thing, and that thing was in there, and it like kind of folded and like sharpened and just kept scratching at my skin. it's the scar is like pretty gone now, but at a time you could kind of see like it almost looked like a birthmark, like one of those bigger birthmarks. But I was scared as fuck about that one, and they were like, "Oh, well, see, we told you." And I was like, "Well, bitch, maybe I don't know, make something that can let me scratch."
Well, there's this one time where I was in elementary again, and at my school, what was it? So we were playing soccer or whatever. No, there was like this whole soccer pit, like it went down to like a lower level, and so like it would go down like in a divot sort of thing. So me and my friend just kept on spinning around in circles like that and see where we would go. So what happened was I kept on spinning and spinning, and I ended up going down the hill, like just keep on spinning, and then I ran face first into the goalpost. My nose hit the goalpost straight on, and like I was all right there on the floor, all dead. Like
you say you were rolling? Were you rolling like on your
No,
side?
I wasn't rolling. I was spinning around like in a circle.
I get you.
I was spinning around in a circle like that, like walking down but spinning, and I hit face first into that goalpost. I fell straight back, and then one of the teachers ran up to me, and all my friends ran up to me like that, and I was like all crying right there, and then they took me to the nurse, and I was in there like that with the bloody nose, and then I was all sitting right there, and there was this other kid in there that was with me like that, and he just says like, "Oh, one time, did you get a bloody nose too?" Oh my god, dude. He had the thing on his nose like that, and then as soon as he went like that to show me like that he had a bloody nose, his wasn't liquid, his was like a clot out of his nose.
Bro.
It was a whole clot out of his nose like that, and I was like, oh, and I just went like that, and I was like, damn, that's crazy.
How many more of those injuries do you think you have?
Well, the whole injury thing?
Because I think I have...
Don't you have like two? Yeah, the cactus
I have
thing,
like,
and then like the tooth.
Oh, I have like 4 things.
The tooth.
I have like 5 things actually. Fuck. Alright, well... Alright, I got this.
Your turn.
So, I'm allergic to bees. And at my old elementary school, we used to sit inside the gym, but then we started sitting outside for whatever reason. And I don't know what... Or maybe it's because it was going under construction, that's why. And I was sitting at this table, you know, like those normal like lunch tables at schools or whatever. But it was like a two seat thing. There was a bee right there, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, I don't even want to be near him. So I got out of the table and I just jumped backwards without looking, and I like just totally shoved my whole arm from like my elbow to my shoulder up into this big ass cactus. I did it, and I was like, oh my god. And then I looked at my arm, and so much blood was just draining down my whole arm. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what just happened? And then the guy, it was funny that the janitor who used to be the guy that like if you were talking or if you threw trash on the ground, he made you stay and clean up the trash. Fucking took me to the nurse's office, and I was like bleeding out of my arm, and then they were like pulling out these thorns. I was freaking the fuck out. I went home. It's cool.
There's this, I think this is like the only other one I remember at the moment, but when I was again in elementary, I used to never like taking showers when I was younger. I love showers now. Amazing. But when I was younger, I didn't like taking showers, and I would always like, you know, bitch and complain like how like little kids would. So I went into the shower, and I was crying about being in there. And then my dad, he got all pissed off about hearing me cry and stuff. So he got the door for it, and mind you, the door was glass. So he slammed it shut, but instead of with like the handle, he had his hand, the palm of his hand on the glass pane. He slammed it like that, and the glass went flying all over me, and like that, and like I'm all jumping around like that, and I was all crying like that, and then like and I was totally fine. I got a little cuts on me, but I was totally fine.
Oh, bro, I thought you were saying like the thing fell into the toilet or on the bottom, and you're all jumping around just stepping in glass.
Nah, but like I got cut up a little bit. But like it was like I was all jumping around like that, and like then my dad was like, "Oh shit!" like that, and then he got me out of the shower. What's yours? What's your other one?
Okay, This one was in kindergarten. I remember specifically because there was we made these puppets, and we put we made little tiny sticks, and that's how we would hold them up, and we put like a toilet paper roll thingy, like the cardboard piece on top of it, and then we'd like decorate or whatever, and that was cool. And we would they did something where they had I don't know if they made the students, make a little tiny skit thingy with it, or they just collected them all and the teachers did something, I forgot. But they made this video tape that would then get, given to each student each week or every day or something.
Yeah.
Like how people weirdly classes would do the thing with the hamster, which I think is weird. But then we went outside one day, and it had been raining, and this was one of those old gymnasium thing, not gymnasium, what are they, jungle gyms, that had a lot of those metal flooring kind of things, so it was slippery as hell. And I was running around, and I went to go up those stairs that were just these metal bases, and I slipped, and I hit my face on the floor so hard, and my face was my mouth was bleeding. And then when they took me to the nurse, they're like, "Oh, your tooth went straight through your lip." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, I still have the scar there, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And I got to go home. How old was I in kindergarten? How old were we in kindergarten?
Maybe 5, 6. Maybe 7.
Yeah, probably 5 or 6. So I was probably 5 because I'm always younger. And not only did I get to go home, but I got to get the puppet video. So I remember that. I was home. I was with the fucking fucked up lip, and I was like, puppets. Yeah. And then the other one, this one is smaller, but the last one's the big one. My dad used to go to this basketball thing with his coworkers and then other dudes, and they would just play basketball or whatever. And people would go watch. It was weird. I didn't understand, but there was one time I was there, because it would always happen on Sundays. So after I would do my thing as a kid, and I would do my activities, and then I would go with him to that thing, and then basically I'd come home, and then I'd have to go to sleep. So it was kind of, retrospectively, kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But I went there, and then there was these kids. They were my age. We went up and ran around the, I guess you can call it a facility. Almost not a facility. It's almost like a gym. That's oh, they got a basketball court here, they got a tennis court there, and then actually it's in Tucson, and it has a baseball field and a soccer field that people go and watch games at. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I understand.
And we were running around. There's this part, I think, where people would usually go eat or whatever, just with whatever. And I was sitting on one of those tables, and it was kind of one of those circle tables with the metal pole at the bottom, but it wasn't secure.
Yeah.
And I was sitting on the edge, and that bitch fell over, and my hands were under it, and it just bam on my finger, and my pinky was like more purple than like any Jolly Rancher I've ever seen in my fucking life. And it was so weird because it was purple from how like your fingers are separated by 3. Like it went from the first one like to halfway through the second one, and like that shit hurt so much, and my pinky was so fat, dude. It was like PHAT. That's how fat that shit was.
That shit was fat with the PH. That shit was cool.
And then I didn't go to school with that one, even though I totally probably could have, but you know, whatever. But I was crying, and like my dad saw, and he thought like something way worse happened to me, and I was like, I fucking smashed my pinky, dude. he thought like, you know, some kids like made fun of me or like beat me up or something, but I was like, no. But
I don't give a fuck.
The next one is like the one that was like so weird. It makes me feel like it was like a Call of Duty mission. I didn't get like shot or anything, but it was at the same jungle gym that I fractured my wrist, and there was these swings. It was, you know, like people would, there was like an evolution of swings. It was like normal swings, and then went to like the tire swings, the ones that weren't sitting upright, but the ones that you could sit like 3 people on. And then it went to these weird ones that were like smaller tire swings, but you can only put one person on it, but it was just like a little circle, and it would be like a rope.
Yeah.
but these ones didn't have the movability where you could just like keep swinging. Like there was a chain to it, so you can only go so far. And I think people would try to use it to like walk across or just kind of do it, but it hurt because there's a chain in the middle, and some of them were angled. So if you were sitting on it, like you were just crushing your nuts. So like there was no reason for me to ever sit on those things, but I did one time because all of our friends were doing it, and I fell off. Like I slid off because it was like at an angle, and I did it, and like I was pulling it because I was trying to like not fall off. I pulled, fell off. The thing went, bungeed, and it slammed right back in my face. Oh, it was on the left side of my face, and it broke my glasses, and it gave me a scar right here, and my face was covered in blood. But I didn't notice that until like I was like on the ground and like my glasses were broken. I was holding my face. I was like, oh man. And then in the wood chips, because you know they always gotta have wood chips, I just started seeing drops of blood, and then it started getting crazy, like so many more drops. I was like, what the fuck? And then like it started going, I was like freaking the fuck out, and it started going on my face and it got in my eyes. That's why I said it started looking like a Call of Duty mission, because you got the red screen.
Yeah.
My vision was like red, and they took me through the whole field to the nurse's office. My face was fully covered in blood. Like I don't know how from right here it got up to my forehead, like up here, and like all the way there, and I was just dripping so much blood, and it was crazy. And like they at the doctor's office, they were like, oh my god. Like if, because it's right here on the glasses where the screw goes in, so they're like, if that would have hinged off and it wasn't right there, it was so close to just being able to swipe into my eye and I would have been blind. And I was like, oh my god. And then like, you know, the next like 2 days I was at, I don't know how long it took for me to go back to school. I think it was probably the next day, but I remember there was like kids that were like, that's the dude. And I said, dude, and I would like look at them and be like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? And that was like the last time I think I got like seriously injured, because like I don't think I've really been injured since. Yeah, I don't think so. I've been playing it pretty fucking safe.
You know what I think generally is the worst pain? Well, obviously there's
heartbreak.
No, like there's obviously worse pain than this right here, but I hate feeling this pain. So when I was younger, right, I had like this toy gun or whatever, and I put like elastic string on it to like make like a strap like that, and like I was tying it on there, and I kept on pulling it back like that, and I let go of it. Boom! Right in the fucking face, dude. That shit came back with so much force and hit me right in the face. I hate that shit. That shit hurts so fucking bad. Like, it's not like anything like crazy like the other stories, but this, oh, I fucking hate that pain, because like you just want to fucking like, you just want to hate the world when that happens, because like you weren't the one that let go of it. The string just fucking decided like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm gonna start pop off right here, and you're gonna hit this face. You ain't gonna like it. All right, so
well, since there's a coronavirus, and we recently graduated, there was a lot of people were super bummed about it. I mean, I was bummed about it, but not for the reasons that like many other people were. They're like, oh, I wanted to walk on stage, I wanted to graduate. Like, that's cool and all. Like, I didn't really care too much to walk up there, but I was mostly looking forward to seeing my friends walk up there, because I'll be like, that's awesome. Or like, especially the people that like did like hella good, and like that I like believed in a lot. I'd be like, yeah, awesome. Now like all my friends are here, and like we're all doing this together. Like I could have literally been sitting in the stands watching and been like, yeah. But
yeah.
But and then like the prom thing, that kind of sucked. But I think the thing that mostly sucked is that throughout all the 4 years of high school, this one was the one that me and you were like having the most fun with. I think probably because we went in with the mindset of like, if anyone starts shit, kill them. And then like just have fun and whatever. And so, there was no bullshit. I mean, there was like, sometimes there was like bullshit that happened, but I mean, like, it's always gonna happen, but it didn't really matter too much.
That's high school, always happened.
But like, compared to like how freshman year and sophomore year was, and like junior, even like junior wasn't, I don't know which one wasn't as bad as sophomore or junior, but Freshman was the worst.
Yeah, it was. Fuck freshman year.
But senior year, we were chilling, and then they're like, coronavirus. And I was like, fuck. It started getting really good. It's like if you're watching an awesome show and it starts getting the awesome seasons, then it gets canceled.
Yeah. Okay, so, well, generally, that's his mindset about it. But me and him are about that sort of situation, and we're, like, completely opposite. Well, obviously, like, I have some similarities to how he feels. But me, personally, I really came into school... Well, freshman year, I hated it. Hated it with the passion. Worst year ever. And then it gradually got better, but I always had the mindset from freshman year that I really didn't want to wait for people. It's because I didn't want to stay there long. It was just a terrible, like, it was fun, but like the start of it wasn't very good. But this year it was good. It was a lot more different. It was a lot more funner. And this year, I just had the mindset of this, like, you know what? I want to make a change in things. But I still had the attitude where I don't give a fuck because I really don't. In school, and then it didn't faze me this year at all. I didn't really care much this year. Obviously, I focused on my work, but I didn't care that much.
Well, the things that we did the most this year, like, last year, like, you know, we would, throughout all 4 years, we would just hang out. But, like,
we didn't hang out much last year.
Oh, but this year, like, we would hang out with, like, other people. Because we would have those events.
Yeah.
Basically. And then we did meet, like, some new people. Kind of. And then, you know, we had new experiences. You know, we went to AP.
We went to parties.
And I don't know. I feel like we just, you know, at the beginning of the year, you're like, I don't have friends. And you're like, I have, like, these people. Like, but you have, like, more. But then, like, after, like, 2 weeks, you were just basically all those people were your friends in, like, 2 seconds. After, like, 1 or 2 parties.
Yeah.
So then, like, after I'd be like, oh, well, like, oh, those are your friends kind of deal. When I was like, well, no, they're not. Kind of deal. But we did have, like, classes weren't as hard. I was a little upset about how we had to do that senior paper and then, like, it didn't count for anything.
It didn't mean nothing because we just did it and it didn't.
We were supposed to do it and then we were supposed to go on spring break and then come back and then do the final draft, but then we never came back from spring break.
Which, like, I'm kind of like, that's the only reason I'm like, oh, awesome about because, like, a final draft about that, I would have been a little bit upset.
For sure, but, like, I just didn't like all the fucking, like, months that they were like, here, you gotta prep for this, do that. That was so fucking wasted.
Like, junior year, like, there wasn't much prep for that. I mean, there was, but, like, it was, like, this, like, maybe, like, 2 months of it.
Yeah.
But then, like, the rest of it's, like, okay, that's when you start writing everything. I obviously didn't do that one.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. You didn't fucking... I'm shocked you passed that one without doing it.
I love that teacher, though.
That was the
He's
one?
awesome.
Who? Oh, wait.
Messias.
Oh. Okay. I was thinking...
Awesome. Awesome. But, generally, this school year was... Obviously, it was the best one out of the 4. But... I'm one of those people that I always hate the idea whenever people say, oh, these are going to be your best 4 years of your life. Like that high school is the best 4 years of your life. And I feel like I understand it. Like, I understand what they talk about that. They're not talking about school. They're talking about out of school. Because, I mean, unless you're a fucking nerd if you talk about... You're a fucking nerd if you talk about, oh, I love the 4 years of high school. It's like, you love the parties and everything? Fuck no, I love the schoolwork. What the fuck? Why? I love coming home and just doing whatever I love coming home, going to bed, and I would hate waking up in the fucking morning just to go back to fucking school.
Just be like, fuck today, bro.
That's my mindset. Every fucking day from freshman year to fucking senior, I'll be like... Mind you, I barely missed any fucking days, but the whole saying about the best 4 years of life, they're talking about out of school. No one's talking about in school.
I think they say it because usually afterwards, you know, they get like families or something, or they get locked into something where they can't do the things that they could. So they just wish that they could go back to that. But I know a lot of people that are like, why?
I think there's people that make it good for themselves and like, fuck that, I don't want to go back to that shit. Well, I didn't have nothing back then.
I feel like the people that can make it good for themselves are the people that have a lot of money that can do stuff, or like the people that that throw parties even during quarantine.
Well, I generally feel like, yeah, okay, so those two make sense. But like, I feel like even if you don't make a lot of money, like if you have like something steady going on or whatever, you can still say that, you know, I have more fun now than what I did when I was in school. Because, you know, maybe you still have parties and stuff. Mind you, like,
I'm not talking about adult life. I'm talking about when we were in school. Like, the people that were able to make the hugest amounts of, like, oh, remember when we were in high school? We had parties. And
yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm saying, like, people, that's what people, when people say, like, the best 4 years, they obviously mean out of school, like, the parties and everything.
But, I mean, the parties we've had and the ones that we've gone to, those have been pretty nice. And, you know, there was, like, hardly any money put into it. So, like, I can understand that, but I feel like those people, they're like, oh, well, we need like 60 people. We need 60 people and as much beer as our liver can handle.
I want enough beer to knock me out for the next week.
Bro, we're here, we got like pizza.
We got pizza, chips, cake. Oh, okay, that's good. Music. People that we like talking to.
Straight chilling.
And that's not an issue for us, so it's generally fun.
Humble.
Exactly. Alright, so let's talk about the spooky shit now.
Spoopies?
Let's talk about the spoopies. Alright, so paranormal stuff. I obviously love it. It freaks me out sometimes, but it's amazing. There was this one time where I was going back to the junior year, and so we had to write a junior paper for just for the class. And so we had different topics, and it was basically anything that we could pick. And so I was just thinking about it, and I was like, okay, I want to do paranormal like phenomenons. And so I thought about it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stick with the idea because I watched so much Ghost Adventures, and I've seen a lot of like all these creepy stuff or whatever. And so I thought about it, and then the next day I told my teacher about it, almost saying like, okay, so I could do it on this, but like, can I do it, like, is it like, I was explaining to her more like, oh, it was like the specifics about it, like, can I do it like on events that have happened? And then she pulled out like a +4 card, and then she was all saying like, why don't you do it on demonology? And I was like, okay. She just gave me that idea, and I was like, okay, I didn't think you would give me this idea, but okay. So after like maybe a week, after like maybe like 2-3 days of doing research on this sort of topic, the paranormal part, I get that, but like once you get more into like demonology stuff, it's a whole different story. That stuff's more weird. I don't really want to go super into detail with everything I saw, but mind you, like, I appreciate that she gave me the idea. She's still one of my 4th favorite teachers or whatever, but she's still awesome. It was a wild. I never finished it though. Like, I maybe did like a page of it, and like after that, I just generally stopped doing it, and I didn't turn it in. I was like, you know what? I read too much about this shit.
Bro, every day you would come up to me, you'd be like, dude, I'm so excited. Like, dude, like, I've been doing this stuff, and this shit's wild. And then you're like, yeah, I didn't turn it in.
Yeah,
it's like, wow, you've been like hyping it up for like weeks, and then you're just like, I didn't.
It's because like it got super interesting, but then like it got super weird too, and I was like, I was like, I feel like mine's more like, it's not like it's more like just talking about them, the demons, more than anything else. Well, which obviously that's what it is, but then I kind of kept on continuing same thing, but like different wording. So I kind of just got repetitive at the end.
So
start
speaking like, what the fuck's that dead language? I forgot.
Latin?
Yeah, Latin.
Nah.
You start going like.
Okay, so paranormal things. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yeah, like it's very like situational. Because like if someone were to like throw something across the room, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fucking weird. And like I'd be like, you know, maybe there's something there. But if, you just hear like a tiny noise or whatever, that's kind of whatever. But if it's like in a house and you're like, yeah, this dude got murdered. And they're like, how did he get murdered? Like, they shoved him in the oven.
It's like, oh, like I heard like growling or like groaning outside my door the other day. It's like, oh yeah, this house was built on like an Indian burial ground. Oh, that's fucking cool to know.
Like, yeah, they're like that kind of shit. And then if one of those small noises or one of those things would happen, I'm like, all right, fuck it, this place is totally like a gateway to hell at this point.
I generally think, like, because I watch a lot of Ghost Adventures, and like I mean, I'm not gonna say their shit's real, because some of it seems legit and some of it seems over dramatic.
Well, yeah, because they say that it's all fake.
Yeah,
there's all those articles where the guy with the bald guy is all like, he's like, yeah, you gotta play it up for the things, we had to set it up a bunch of times. And I was like, you fucking asshole.
I mean, like, there's some scenarios where like they have filmed things where, like, like, I obviously think there's no fucking way nothing's there. But then there's places, like, when you look at them and they're like, that shit has ghosts for sure, or something's fucking there. Like, there's like a difference. Like, you could go to like a fucking place in fucking Bisbee or something like that, and then like it's like lit up and everything like that. Like, lit up places, I generally think are not haunted, but places that are like, generally like abandoned and like very, like, there's been people that died there and stuff. Like, I believe that more than
I feel like
that.
When you say something's like lit up, and then like I feel like it could still be haunted, but like only at night.
Yeah.
But like places, I feel like locations like buildings or like homes and stuff, like those would be scary if they're haunted. But I feel like places that
asylums, mansions,
like that shouldn't be haunted, like a cave or like catacombs.
Catacombs, like, that's, well, the catacombs, that I feel like if that shit doesn't have no ghost, that's like, how?
Clay fucking skulls.
They're all fake.
Because after watching As Above, So Below for that first time, that I was like, holy fuck, dude. I was like, if anyone was ever like, they're like, hey man, we want to film something, you want to go in there? We're like, we'll pay you $1 million. They'd be like, no, you can take that and shove it up your ass, dude.
Have you seen those videos like on YouTube where like they say like the top 10 most haunted places or scariest places?
Like that empty place in like Japan or whatever the fuck.
There's the empty
island or whatever.
There's islands, there's caves, there's like tunnels.
There's that place in Tombstone that they had that episode there. I kind of believe that one for sure. The Exorcist house.
I believe Alcatraz for sure.
Dude, if there's no other place, Catacombs and Alcatraz should for sure have things lingering.
I think things are like old structures that are like abandoned for sure.
That mine shaft in Gleason.
Oh yeah. Well,
it looks like it should be haunted.
I generally think like some places like that maybe. Like, it depends. Like, if there's like, it just, I don't know, like, because there's people out there that obviously don't believe it.
You know what? My great-grandparents' house, like, even before they passed away in there, I always felt like that house is haunted. But I feel like, because I haven't been in that house in such a long time, and I haven't been in there, especially, like, too recently after they passed away. And I think if I went in there, I'd be freaked out. Because, first of all, it's, like, no furniture's in there. And, then, like, if I was in there at night, because that's where my mom lived when she was younger, so she would tell me these ghost stories from there, and I was like, no fucking way. I was like, I always felt weird as fuck in that house when there wasn't like 7 people in there.
Yeah. Like, okay, so there's places that are haunted, but what do you think about possessed items? You think possessed items are a thing, like dolls?
Like, do you think that Annabelle thing is real? I feel like just because of how much security they put on that thing, probably.
I generally think so, because like the actual doll, like it's covered in a glass case, and like the Annabelle movie, the recently one that came out last year, it was the same thing. Like, in that movie,
there was a dude that was collecting her or whatever.
Yeah, the dude that they bought her.
Oh yeah, they had all those relics in there.
Yeah, they had all the haunted relics in there, but they kept
fucking idiots.
They kept well, everything was fine. But they kept Annabelle locked up inside of that glass
And you can't take pictures.
case, and you
without permission.
can't take pictures, or you can't take her out of there. And then once they took her out of there, that's when like every single thing in that house start. That movie was awesome, by the way. Like everything that was like had haunted, everything like that, like specifically that was towards that item came out, and like it was crazy. But I generally think that's real, the Annabelle thing, because I mean, like, why would you keep it in a case, and like, why would you have to ask to take a picture?
Yeah, dude. And then I remember like a long time ago, I think near when Conjuring 1 came out, and like people like had the actual real Annabelle doll, and I was like, that thing, like, it doesn't look as creepy as like the one they had in the movie, but I was like, but the fact that it looks so chill makes it worse.
Would you want to hold on to that?
No.
For a night?
No.
I think if I had it in a case, maybe.
No, that thing can't be in like a 20-mile radius of me, dude.
I think, I don't know.
Or else like a whole ass new episode.
I generally want someone to take it out and just keep it right there.
And see if that house burns to the ground.
We'll see what would happen. Like, what would actually happen? Because like there has to be something, but there's obviously a reason why. Because the people that put it right there in there know of its whatever it is. But I want to see what would happen if it actually did it out. Like, is something gonna happen, or like is this bullshit?
Well, you know what I think is bullshit, but I'll still never do. Fucking Ouija boards.
Oh, my grandma has one of those.
Like Ouija boards. I would never hold Annabelle or would let it near me, but I would also never be in a room where someone's using a Ouija board. Not because I think something's gonna happen, but out of principle, because I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
I was like, yo, check this shit out. Pop one right there. Like,
And
all right, bye.
And then I'd be like, burn that bitch.
Oh man.
Because like, you know, I'm not super superstitious about things, but there are some things where you're just like, why find out?
Yeah.
Like, why find out if fucking blah, blah, can fucking talk to me?
Have you ever had? I know what the demon from the Ouija board's name is.
What, Kevin
Spacey's, yeah. No, Zuzu, whatever his name. That's the weird guy.
Paul G?
Nah. Okay, so more on this topic right here.
Oh man.
What have you ever had an experience with the paranormal? And any sort of, like, it doesn't have to be like crazy as fuck, but like anything that you've ever experienced something like it.
I feel like I have, and I just always forget. But like,
I know of one little small one. I think I have another one, but I know of one here at this house. Like, there's been times where like we're just like right there in the living room or whatever, and in the bathroom, one of the soap bottles just fall, and they're like on the wall. They're like in the corner of the wall right there, and like, or they'll be like on the top where this little rack's at.
Yeah.
And like out of nowhere, we're just right there, and we just hear a fall. Like then in the bathroom, I go and check. It's one of the soap bottles like that, and then my grandma always telling me, "Oh, it's my mom and dad."
Well, like after, yeah, that's what my mom says. I hate that shit. I hate it when she says that because it always freaks me out. When like, you know, like maybe, you know, because you know people always say dogs can see it.
Yeah.
So whenever Biscuit's like looking at nothing for like way too long, she's like, "What are you seeing?" And like, you know, especially if it's like really close to like one of those people being lost or something, and like if they're, you know, if we're at that house or something or whatever shit, and they're just looking, I'm like, look at me.
Look at me.
Don't look at the fucking walls. Like, I don't care if there is something there, but you know what does freak me out? That little TikTok filter where like you see a person or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That like, cause I feel like there's like it's too non-predictable, and like sometimes it's like perfect because there'll be someone sitting on someone's couch. It's like, well, how do you program that?
Well, there was this one time, like I'm pretty sure it was nothing, but I kind of generally do think it was something. There was this one night I was here at my house and I was just inside, and mind you, my house is very big
And old.
and well, yeah, almost 100 years old, and
Problem.
and so I was inside and I was just looking through the window right there, and like in my backyard, I just turned around. Well, no, I didn't turn around. Well, I just looked outside the window, and I thought I saw like a figure of like a girl or something in a white dress. But like obviously, you know, like I'm pretty sure it was nothing, because I thought I saw that, and I was kind of generally freaked out about it, but at the same time, it didn't really faze me much like that, and I just kept on looking at it. It didn't move at all. It never moved. So then I just went to bed and like didn't worry about it. It was nothing really big, but it always super curious in my mind to see what would happen if it was real.
My mom's told me about stuff that I've always gone off of. Cause like my mom is into metal, and like when you're in a very religious household, you feel like that. Especially like back then, because like, you know, you can have a metal band now and like their logo is like a Coke can. Back in the day, it was like pentagrams, fucking the devil's face, you know. So like they would have posters like Slayer would have posters, and I think their logo is a pentagram, isn't it? I think it is.
Yeah.
And like, you know, she would have those posters up, but then she would also have a cross, a big ass cross in her room, because she was still religious. But she just liked metal, and like, you know, there was always conflict, but she would like swear that like she's like, and it's funny because the room she spoke about that happened to her, I was always like creeped the fuck out to be in that room, because I'm pretty sure she said it was this room, but it's like in the front basically, and like she said that she could have sworn that like one night she like saw that like a dude. I really hope she doesn't get mad for me saying this, but she saw a dude, and then like just some figure, and then like she couldn't breathe, and that it was like choking her, and I was like, fuck that. And I was like that's why I'm not a big fan of like even if a band has a weird cover, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah. That's why I was super weird about getting into Ghost. Like I was like, damn. I was like, I'll listen to music, but I don't want to do their extra stuff. I don't want to be like, here's the like Satan church. I wasn't like crazy about that, but like I try to horror movies. I try to stay away from the religious ones, because religious horror is like scarier than like Freddy Krueger like going in your dreams and just calling you a bitch. Like the Rick and Morty one.
Yeah.
But like religious stuff scares me a lot.
Yeah.
Rather than you're like some fucking robot ripping your heart out.
Yeah. Well, there's this one. I think this is like the second other time where like I've had experience with it. So this was maybe like 4 years ago, I think. And so 4 or 5, either one. We would have like this ghost radar thing on your phone, like that was an app, like one of those fake ass ones
with ads for Candy Crush.
No, it didn't have no ads on it, and it would just be like a radar right there, and then it would have like a little like dot that would show up, and it would be a ghost, and sometimes it would say a certain word, and like that's what they would be saying. So there was this one time where me, my sister, and my mom were in my living room, and we had a dog at the time. So we were just right there in the living room, and we just had it on, and we were just listening to what the words it was saying. And the funny thing is, as soon as, mind you, like it doesn't like radar the people that are in the room. It just radars whatever spirit, I guess, is in the room. And so my dog walked into the living room, and it was there for like a couple seconds, and then the radar goes and says dog, and like I was like, holy shit.
If that shit would have happened, I would have like thrown the phone away.
I was like, and it just said dog, and I was like, holy shit. That's like the only time I think this thing is like worked.
Also, I would have probably grabbed my dog because I would have been scared.
I thought that was the most craziest shit, and I was like, okay.
Do you know how freaked out my house would have been? Like my mom and my brother would have been like, what the fuck?
I'd be like, uh-oh.
They're like, this dude's on X Games mode.
He on X Games mode.
And they're like, I don't know. That's why I'm like glad, because I'm not super into the like purification or whatever, but I do have a cross in my room, and I feel like it's a good safety net.
Yeah.
So like, you know, even if I'm like, maybe there are no ghosts, but I'm like, but maybe I don't know them because that thing is there.
Yeah. So and just saying this whole thing, I'm like a 50-50 with the whole paranormal thing. I believe it exists, but at the same time I don't believe, because like I need evidence that it exists, and at the same time
Sure.
I do believe. Like it's a 50-50 thing. Like I'm more lenient to like it doesn't exist, but like I just need proof, like physical proof to myself, like for me to shit my pants because of how scary that was.
Oh, I need for like there to be like a fog machine to happen in like in a room that's lit up, and then there'd be a figure in the middle that's like not there. Then I'll be like, all right.
You need like some smoke, that's like fog, something like on like this or on the floor, and I gotta know where you just see it just move without
like,
a draft.
And it like morphs around a figure. I'd be like, all right.
I think if I just saw a fog on the floor, like if we put fog on the floor right here like that, without a single air draft at all in this room like that, and it doesn't moved, that's a good.
Or you do what they did in Paranormal Activity and put like salt or like sugar on the floor and like see if there's prints in it.
Oh yeah.
That shit scared the fuck out of me.
Well, if you put salt,
Because it was like this.
Yeah. If you put salt down, it kind of keeps them away.
Well, not salt, but like that's why
Yeah,
we changed to sugar
Yeah.
or baking powder or some shit.
Yeah. Okay, so after that long topic, we want to talk about stress relievers now. I've had
Chocolate milk.
yeah. I usually get stressed out a few times. Well, not a lot. But what I used to do to cope with it, I would just write stories. Like I would have like a journal, and I would just write what I felt about things, and like I would make a story out of it, and it generally would keep me entertained, and it would obviously keep me like focused and not be stressed out. I did it for like a good like half a year, and then I picked it up again, but then I haven't done it recently because I don't really have the need to be doing it again at the moment. So it's just something that kept me calm and didn't let me go overboard with how stressed out I was.
I could say like I'd play video games or something. Like sometimes that would happen, but I would have to be hella selective with the game. Like it's gonna have to be, you know, something that I don't have to really put too much brain power in, or you know I don't want to get pissed off at it, and then like I'd be like fuck this game, and then I have to go back. But like now I can just be like, I just listen to music, or throw on a video, maybe like play my guitar for like an hour, and like if it's like something that's stressing me out like a lot or like pissing me off, I gotta play like aggressive stuff. I can't be playing like some like I don't know.
Can't play
Beatles.
no church music.
I can't be doing something like that. I gotta be like doing the chugs. I gotta throw chug after chug.
You gotta get the big chungus.
I gotta like take that tuning and take it from some wholesome stuff to some like you let your kid listen to that.
He's like, you let your kid play that?
But like it sometimes it's like that kind of like metal music that you hear and you're like, oh damn, and like you get your whole body moving kind of deal, even though you're playing and you're just your whole ass setup is just moving and you're like, wow, that's cool. Especially since like I'll pick a song and then there'll be a part on it that sounds like hella cool, or like there'll be a hard part, and sometimes during like those stress moments I like nail it like perfectly, and then I'm like, oh fuck, stress gone, like because I'm like happy about this thing.
Yeah. Okay, so what is something you find satisfying? Like, you know how like people like, oh, slime, or like cutting fucking sand or some shit, whatever the fuck it is. Well, it doesn't have to be necessarily that, but what is something that you always find satisfying to you? That's like, no matter how many times it happens, it's always satisfying to you. Like doing something, or like hearing something, seeing something, either one.
Huh.
I know mine for sure.
Dude, somebody making like awesome looking coffee.
Oh yeah. Mine generally is like, I like the sound of shattered glass. Like, I think if you just like someone like just shatters glass and like, you know, I've seen like when people like when they smash the like a car window, but like
with like the
legally,
like the spark plug thing.
not yeah, but like with the
like because they locked their keys.
not with those, but like the window breakers.
Oh yeah.
Where they put it in a corner like that and it just pop it like that and it just shatters and like you just hear it all crumble down. That's the most satisfying fucking thing in the world to me.
That was like that I saw the other day, but I forgot. It's probably like, damn it, you know, like when people like get a new phone, they rip off the peelies.
Oh yeah, like the seal.
The fucking one on my TV was gross. That shit was stupid. It was like tape on the screen. Throughout the whole thing, I was like, that can't be good. I was expecting to turn that TV on and there was gonna be like a whole ass grip of dead pixels on that screen.
Yeah.
That's what I was, but I can't think of a satisfying thing, like besides the coffee thing. But you know, there'd be like people that like cut the foam or whatever. I could see that happening.
Yeah, but
ASMR. What?
Basically, all right, guys. So this was episode 3. We hope you guys liked it. It was kind of a odd one. We kind of just went on a big old ramble about injuries and paranormal stuff, but we still hoped you liked it.
I'm sure. A lot of people are about those kinds of things.
Yeah,
because Ghost Adventures and all those things are kind of popular. And you know, there's always people that are like, one time someone threw a can of beans at me when I was asleep, you know, and they're like, maybe that happened to them too.
Yeah, but we really appreciate you guys watching this in this time of quarantine and hope you guys are safe at home, being clean, staying social distancing and stuff like that.
If you got something you want us to talk about, maybe, you know, drop that down in the comments. You know,
give us ideas.
If you want to hear something, maybe we can look into it and then we can come back to you with like a whole 30 minutes of it. So,
yeah.
Take care.